Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if this is your first time visiting this channel, click on the subscribe button and smash the notification bell so that whenever I post a new video, you will get notified as soon as possible. So I was supposed to end my weekly market analysis last week, alright? I made you aware of that, but I've had so much request to do it for the very last time. We have had so much request to do it for the very last time, so I'm here. So let's delve deep in the market just as we normally do and see what the market has for us going into a new week. All right, but first of all, let me open up the economic news calendar for this week for you to see. This week is a red week. Yes, so realize that from Monday throughout to Friday, it's a whole red news. All right, it's a whole high impact news. All right, you have high impact news on Monday, high impact news on Tuesday, high impact news on Wednesday, high impact news on Thursday, and high impact news on Friday. So the market is going to be very crazy this week. So you might want to be very careful on the market. All right, yes, you should be very careful on the market. All right, I mean, don't go into trades and leave risk management behind. Don't go into trades and leave risk management behind. Yes, so these are what we are expecting to see. I mean, it's going to be very volatile. The week is going to be very volatile. A lot of liquidity are going to be injected in the market for the very last time so far as 2022 is concerned. So I mean, you should know what is coming, and so you should prepare accordingly, and then make sure you don't find yourself wanting. So that is just that for the economic news calendar. Let's delve into the market and see. So we start with the dollar index. So with the dollar index, we've seen some couple of weakness in the dollar for about some days now. All right, of which I'm still expecting to see market moving to the downside. All right, yes, let me show you something here. All right, so this whole range you are seeing here, all right, it's a range of what last 6 months. It's a last 6 months range. All right, it's a last 6 months range, and this is the ending point as far as sell side liquidity is concerned. All right, is concerned, and we have this liquidity here being untouched, and you have this zone here. So I still feel that the market, we are likely to see market moving into this zone before we see any movement to the upside. But before that, I still feel that the market, I still see this volume imbalance not filled properly. I still see this volume imbalance not filled properly. So we are likely to see the market push up to fill this volume imbalance before we see a move to the downside. But let's go to the lower time frame and see things clearly. All right, let's go to the lower time frame and see things clearly. And so this is actually the low that was made last week. All right, so this is the previous week's low. Let's move to the 1 hour and see things for ourselves. And so going into next week, this is what I want to see on the market. All right, so this is the low. This is the low I'll be focusing on. All right, we are likely to see price continuing to push to the upside, taking out these buy side liquidities before we see a push to the downside. And so I'll be very observant to see how the market will react going into next week. All right, so if price takes out this low first, I'll see how the market reacts when it gets here, because as soon as this low is taken, definitely we are going to get into this zone. All right, if this zone is broken, then definitely you're going to continue to the upside, to the downside. All right, if this low is broken, then definitely we are going to see price continue to the downside. But if this high is being taken, all right, then definitely we are going to see all these buy side liquidities being taken and price running out into the zone before we see a massive move to the downside. All right, yeah, so that is going to be my expectation on the dollar index going into this week. Yeah, so that is just that. Let's look at what is happening on GU. So for GU2, I'm still expecting to see GU move to the upside, all right, to take out this high, all right, the high of the last 6 months, all right, because looking at where price is currently, the next logical draw on liquidity is here. All right, the next logical draw on liquidity is here. So we are likely first of all to take out this high and then here. All right, yeah, so that is the last high of the last 6 months. Yeah, so definitely at the moment this is what I'm expecting price to draw into. Before that, we have a sell side liquidity and certain imbalances too that we are likely to see price filling before we see a move to the upside. So last week we saw price stalking within this range. All right, we saw price stalking within this range. Friday price attempted to break this high, but it failed. We saw a quick rejection to the downside. All right, we saw a quick rejection to the downside, trying to first of all take out this low. And so going into next week, we are likely to see price move to the downside, taking out all these soft side liquidities before we see price move to the upside. Yeah, so I'll be very, very observant to see how price is going to react going into this week. So I don't expect to see price take out this high. All right, yeah, because I see this to be a bearish order block. All right, and so when the market opens, you're likely to see price move up a little bit into the zone. Then we see a continuation to the downside, taking out this low and this low as well. All right, yeah, but if price should quickly take out this high or violate this high, and then we're going to see price continuing to push to the upside. But at the moment, I'm expecting to see some sells in GU. All right, I'm expecting to see some sells in GU into this very zone we are seeing here before we see a continuation to the upside. Yeah, so that is my expectation on GBPUSD going into this week. Let's look at what is happening on EURUSD. So for EURUSD to same plan, the next logical draw in liquidity is this zone we are seeing here. All right, this is the next logical draw on liquidity. All right, but before that, we need to see some internal range liquidity being taken before we move out to the external range liquidity. Yeah, and so in view of that, I want to see price move a little bit to this zone, then we see a move to the upside. Let's go to the 1 hour and see things clearly. All right, yeah, so for last week too, price tried to take out this high, but it couldn't. We saw price moving to the downside and then retraced up and then another push to the downside. And so going into this week, I want to see these lows being cleared. All right, I want to see these lows being cleared into the zone before we see a move to the upside. And so currently I'll be looking for sells. All right, I'll be looking for sells on EURUSD going into this week. Yeah, so that is going to be my expectation on EURUSD. Let's look at what is happening on Nasdaq. So for Nasdaq, we've seen Nasdaq consolidating for a while now. Right, we've seen Nasdaq consolidating for a while now. So at the moment, I'm going to fold my arms and see what is going to happen next. All right, if this low is being violated, then definitely we are going to see price move into the zone before we see price moving to the upside. Right, yeah, so at the moment I'm quiet on Nasdaq. All right, and next week by Tuesday, I'll be able to see what price is going to do next. All right, yes, I'll be expecting to see some signals by Tuesday and see how I'm going to react so far as Nasdaq is concerned. So currently, that is my expectation going into next week. All right, yeah. So if you're not part of my flax trading Telegram community, just click on the link in the description box below and be part of the flax trading Telegram community. Yeah, so just as you requested, this is the last weekly market analysis so far as the year 2022 is concerned. I think after this week we are going to see a very quiet market. Yes, after this week we are going to see a very quiet market until next year February. Yeah, so that is my expectation, or that is how I'm going to call it a year so far as 2022 is concerned. All right, yeah. So until then, I'll come your way again another time. Stay safe, and I wish you all a happy new year in advance.